My screen is visible, right?
Yes. Yeah. You can see.
Okay. Okay. So JDBC is an API. API means application programming interface. Okay. It contains predefined classes and objects. Okay. So which is used for to fetch the data from database servers. Okay, so the concept called is JDBC, Java Database Connectivity. It is one feature of Java. It is an API. So using this, we can connect the database servers. We can retrieve the data from database. Okay, so see, actually the process of JDBC is the importance of JDBC is the application servers never go and connect with the database servers directly. So there is no communication between application server and database server. But we have suppose we have deployed one application in application server, so that application definitely uses some DB. Okay, so because that application related information should be stored in DB servers only. So for login, for the registering some other user related information, so everything will be stored in database servers. So in that case, application server should be connected with the database server. So here JDBC is the concept to integrate application server and database server. Okay, and here the application server request the database server for getting the data through HTTP protocol, but the database servers cannot understand HTTP requests. Okay, so in that case we need a mediator between web server application server and database server. That mediator called as driver. Okay, so JDBC driver. JDBC driver. So this driver provides services like to convert the HTTP code or HTTP request to SQL statements. Okay, then the database server can understand and it gives the response to the client. Okay, so that is the job of driver. So the driver is the mediator between application server and database server. So whenever the application server send a request to database server to fetch the data, so that request should be in HTTP only, because the application server maintain HTTP protocol. So that protocol taken care by JDBC driver, it converts the code, it convert the request from HTTP to SQL statements and forward that request to database server. Then the database server can understand that request and it process the request and it gives the response to the application server again. So then only the application can then only the user can able to access can able to log in that application. Okay, so here we have four types of drivers to convert the request. First one is JDBC, ODBC driver, or type 1 driver. Okay, and the second one is JDBC native driver, or type 2 driver, and the third one is network servers, or type 3 driver, and the fourth one is Java driver, or type 4 driver, or thin driver. Okay, so these are all four types of drivers available. The first one is JDBC ODBC driver or type 1 driver. JDBC means Java database connectivity, and ODBC means open database connectivity. So these two are the drivers to convert the code from HTTP to SQL statements, but this is Microsoft product. JDBC ODBC is Microsoft product. It will not work in Windows Linux machines. Okay, it is applicable to only Microsoft products and Microsoft Windows. Okay, so here we are deploying the WebSphere application server in Linux machines, and we don't use this ODBC driver in this on our environment. And the second one is JDBC native driver or type 2 driver. So this is used for native applications, nothing but C and C++ applications. But here we are deploying Java, so we don't use type 2 driver also. And the type 3 driver is network servers and or type 3 driver. So network servers means we have to maintain some physical servers. So the request comes from the application server to network servers. Then the network servers convert the code and it will forward that request to database server. So in this the drawback is to maintain these network servers we need a separate team. So that is not recommended. We need to maintain separate team that is expense to the project, so we don't use. And the request also very slow by converting the code by using network servers, so we don't use type 3 driver also. And type 4 driver is Java driver. That means the Java application will go and connect to database directly. Okay, and we can call it as type 4 driver or thin driver also. Okay, so like this we will create and establish the connection with the database and fetch the data. Okay, and in WebSphere perspective, so how we can configure database with application servers with database servers. Okay, so we have to do three things. First one is we have to create JDBC provider. Okay, so JDBC provider, in this we have to choose database type, first scope. Okay, and the second one is database type we have to choose, and implementation type. Implementation type we have to choose. Okay, and the second one is J2C contract container. That means J2C contract container means here we have to authenticate. So here we have to give the authentication names. So authentication names means the database server having instances. Each and every instance maintain a username and password to connect with the database. Okay, so that username and password we have to create under J2C contract container. Okay, and the third one is data source. So data source means it is a logical boundary where we used to create and establish the connections with the database, and it uses the connection pool. Okay, so let me write here data source. It is a logical group of database connections which the data. Okay, so this data source is deployed in application server. This data source is targeted to application server. Okay, it provides reusable database connections, connection pool. Okay, so data source is a logical group of database connections to fetch the data from database, and this data source is targeted to application server, and it provides reusable database connections through connection pool. Okay, so in data source we have to provide database name, and database server. Database server means where the database is installed. Database server name or host name, and database port number. So we need to provide these details. Okay, after that, test connection. Okay, so actually in JDBC concept, these details application team will give you all the details, like because we administrators doesn't know, I mean which database the application is using. So these details are provided by the application team. So they'll say the scope and database type and implementation type and database name, database server name where the database is installed, and host name and password and port number. So everything they will give to us. So our job is, being an administrator, our job is just to provide these details in the administrative console and establish the connection. That is our job. If the connection is successful, then the JDBC is okay. If the test connection is not successful, so it will throw an error definitely. So we have to work on that accordingly. So generally in database connection we will get problems with database server only. we have to send out an email or we have to raise a ticket to database team. So this is the error we are getting. Okay, and the second is sometimes we will get application side errors also. At the time we have to paste them. So by informing that error details. Okay, so we never get problems with the server at the time of JDBC configuration. Okay, so now we will see how we can do it. Let me start a DMGR. In Linux I don't have federated environment. I'm starting in Windows.
So if we start federating in our environment, does it work on Unix or it won't work on Unix?
It will work on any environment, but as of now I don't have federated environment in Linux and virtual machine. That's why I'm showing in Windows.
Yes, okay.
We will do configuration changes in administrative console. Background we will not do anything. Only using administrative console we do this.
Oh, okay. But in the class we did in preparation, right? But I thought we did in Unix only, right? Linux? మనం క్లాస్ కోసం we did some federation, right? I think we did in Linux and it thought it was working. I never tried on my system.
Linux we did it. Yesterday I refreshed that virtual machine. There we don't have a federated environment. Only DMGR profile is there.
Oh, okay, okay. Okay, no
I
problem.
refreshed it because new classes are starting. So for them I just refreshed it.
Okay.
Generally, the DB servers are will be run in different physical mission. We cannot install WebSphere. We cannot maintain WebSphere and database servers in one physical mission. So obviously, it will be in different mission, remote mission.
So to test that, to set up the JDBC on our machine, where can we find that database to download and install?
Database we have to download from IBM. We have to install in our mission, and we have to create one database also. So in real time, we will not do anything. The database team is available, application team is available. They will take care of that. They will provide the just details to us. So they will not share the password also. They need some approval. Okay. So database team maintains database servers, and application team will give you the application and the database details also. Only integration we do. Okay,
Okay.
we need not to create any tables. We need to create database servers. A separate team will be available, DBS. They will
Right.
take care of that.
So for connecting the JDBC, so there is no way we can do it because we cannot install the databases.
You can
We
install.
cannot install.
No, if you
You
have
can
like
if you have knowledge, you can install in our local mission. You can try it. Okay.
We don't have knowledge, right? That's why we are taking the training.
In training also, uh, what see here, what we are doing in real time, I am showing you. So the database servers, we are not, we need not to create a database. Okay, database already there, because application, when they are developing the application, they will write the code to connect with the database. They will test everything. Okay, they will test everything, and after that only they will give you the file for deployment. So
Mhm.
after deployment, they will give you the details of the database server which they have used. So for using that database details, we will configure in the server level. That thing we will do. Okay.
That you are
So
going to.
we need, yeah. So we are not going to create any database servers. Okay. We are not going to create any database tables. Nothing. Okay. Only integration we do. Go to services, resources, here JDBC, go to JDBC providers. Here select the scope. Scope means target servers. So in which server we are going to deploy this data source. Like here we have cell scope, okay, and node scope and server level scope. And also if you configure clusters, you can see cluster configuration also here. So that means all available servers, clusters, cells and nodes it will display. So we have to target this JDBC provider to the particular servers. Okay, here I am selecting server 2 as the scope. Okay, this is the requirement is given by application team. If they say do this from cluster level, we will go with and do that. Server level means server level. Scope, I mean cell level means we will go with cell level also. Okay, so select the server here and create provider. Click on new. It is taking time. So here scope is server 2 level and the database type. So which database we are going to use? DB2. Here we have some databases. DB2. This is IBM product. So most of the IBM projects it is compatible to application server. So IBM DB2 we will use, and Derby is the default database, and informatics Oracle. So these are all the databases available, supported databases. So I'm going with DB2 and provider type. So here JDBC universal driver provider. Okay, so we have to select this provider type, DB2 universal JDBC driver provider, and implementation type is here. We can see two types of implementation types. First one is connection pool data source, second one is XA data source. Connection pool means one-way authentication. So connection pool, it is the pool. It is pool contains a lot of database connections. So to connect with the database, okay, this is one-way authentication. So XA data source means two-way authentication. So it is also depends on application. The application needed two-way authentication. So we will go and configure XA data source. If it is one way, we will go with connection pool. Okay. So these details is given by application team. They will ask us to create XA if the application having two-way authentication. So select this and click on next, and here specify this jar files directory location. Okay, here I'm giving some path, home and root. So generally in real time, generally the once we along with installation database DB2 installation, you will get this jar file, DB2 jar file, and this jar file will be located in some path. So we have to specify that path here. Okay, and click on next, and this is the summary. Click on finish. Save the configuration. I'm doing synchronization also along with configuration. Okay, So now JDBC provider is created. DB2 universal JDBC driver provider. Okay. Now go to this JDBC provider and create a data source. Here data source tab is there. Click on new data source.
What is the difference between this data source and the left side under JDBC we have data sources and data sources WebSphere application server?
Both are same. We can create in two ways. So either go with provider or we can click on data source also. Both are same. These two options will go to same page.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Here we have to specify the JNDA name. So here JNDA name means Java Naming Directory Interface. The connection, the database connection uses a unique name to connect with the databases. So for that, the application team will give you the JNDA names. So we have to specify that JNDA name here. So here I'm giving JDBC / session. So this is for example I'm giving. Okay, and click on next.
Is that instance name?
Yeah, instance name.
Okay.
Okay, and the database name is session. These things I am giving example, and database name means which database we are going to connect. Okay, and the host name, so where the database is hosted. So here I am giving local host. Okay, and the port number is by default it is 50,000. So DB2 port number is 50,000 by default, and here we have to select the driver type. So I'm selecting type 4 driver, that means Java driver. Okay, and click on next. Okay, here no need to select anything, just click on next. Summary, click on finish. Save the configuration. So data source is created, DB2 universal driver XA data source. Okay, now we have to test the connection whether the database data source is connecting with the database server or not. Okay, so select this data source, click on test connection. If the test connection is success, our integration is successful. If the test connection is not success, definitely it will throw an error like this. So we have to contact DB team or application team. So according to the error. Okay, but here I don't have any database service in my mission, so that's why it is showing it is not able to connect the that server. So let me start the service, application service. Generally, we will get database problems only. Database server will not connect uh, sometimes. So at that time, we have to contact DB team. The database is not available. Please provide the details to connect with the database server. So once they give the new configuration details or anything, we can go with that. That thing we can do from our end, nothing else. Node, Node agent is running. Now start the service. So we have targeted to server 2. So server 2 is running. Okay. So now go to the data source. Okay. Server should be run up and running state. Go to the data source and test the connection. So this is our data source. Select the data source and click on test connection. So it will throw an error because I don't have DB in my laptop. So it will throw an error. So if it is DB available, it will connect definitely. If it is not connecting, then we can contact them. We have provided all the details which is given by application team. So the data source is not connecting. We can page them. We can ask them to rectify the issue. Okay. So the test connection is failed for the data source DB to universal. So on server to app node, the following exception. So the exception is lang java.lang. Class not found. Okay. So that means that a data source is not available. Database server is not available. Okay, like this we will configure database JDBC in WebSphere. Okay, is it clear?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So I'm stopping here. We will come with the new topic tomorrow. Most probably you have 3-4 classes. Four. I need to check. I mean the topics. So okay, we will discuss.
Then we
Ramav,
did cover
Okay.
as
Thank.
Ramav garu,
Sorry.
I heard about a profile called Liberty Profile, which we never discussed about. Can you throw some light on that?
Yeah, I will tell you that also. Okay, we
Okay.
will discuss that also. Okay.
Okay. Because
yes,
that's it.
depending.
8.5 there is a feature Liberty Profile. We will discuss. Okay. That's why I need to recap what are the topics we have done as so far. So what are the left? We will discuss that. maybe 4 or 5 classes we have, we will discuss in detail.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Thanks. Bye.